the stalled 0L of Mason Love. And we'll get these cars continuing to circulate for the hot lap session. How do you keep all this stuff straight? There you go. I can put up something behind it.
It'll stay right there if it's all the way against the frame.
Apparently the situation with Mason Love requiring tow truck, as the local racer who comes to us from St. Petersburg, Florida, will be trying to improve upon his night previous. The last night, not the best night for the 0L. Okay. We'd mentioned earlier the Tim McCafferty car 64M, which was on the racetrack. We still have the car 64 of Austin Sanders. Had a rough night last night. Austin Sanders' car, the body was hung, all the metal was cut, everything by his 15-year-old son, Gage. So Gage working his way through. This is not his first car he's done. He's done several of Austin's cars. Good piece of work right there for Austin Sanders' son, Gage. White flag waves over this field of cars as they get set to wrap up their efforts here. First group of cars now being sent off the turn 1 gate as the 0L will also be making his way. Next out on the racetrack, the K9 of Will Krupp leads the way out. Also joining us, it's the car 81. That is the Owens ride, of Jeremy Owens. You've got the car number 9 competing last night, Corey Balke. 16H of Justin Hart getting some assistance to come out onto the track. We've got the 10X of Billy Updegraff will be joining us. Hunter Feltner, driver of the car 101, also on the grid for today. And it looks like the 27 of Michael Turner, listed as 27G. That's have to be corrected. The 27. That's Bo DeYoung's 27 that's on the track right now. There are 3 27s, Jason Garver, Michael Turner, and Bo DeYoung. Bo DeYoung in the 27 part of this group. Race control letting them know the track is clear. They can expect to see the green flag, which is out right now. $18,322 that time by for Will Krupp. Solid 18 already. Better still, 18,295. Krupp doesn't have the luxury of setting his own pace. He's camped behind a car out the track. The Hart's 16, but still 18,295. $18,771 for Updegraff. Updegraff in the 10X looking for a little bit better run. We had an 18,073 stuck up on the board by Feltner. Krupp backing off on his pass through. So these drivers in the first group of tonight, 3 groups total, 72 cars, 24 cars in each one of the 25 lap mains that we have scheduled for tonight. Moving into the second heat, Skylar Douglas, the second feature rather, Skylar Douglas in the 14 first out of Clinton, Tennessee. Chris Kittle, car 15K. The 98, we did not get a chance to see this car in action last night. That's Sean Vaughn out of Springfield, Illinois. Car 4, Mike Halliday. Halliday a top 10 in last night's action. Got the 87Z of Zeman. Turner in the 27T. Denny Schwartz in the 21S. Rick Connier in car 14C out of Missouri. Trouble off turn 2 for one car. Kittle's 15K spins to the infield. A couple of cars drag racing across the line as they'll finish up their runs. Those with clear track going to give it a shot. Turner trying to beat an 18.3 and did, 18.031. So Michael Turner saved his best lap for last. 18.031 showing up for the 27T. .37, Devin Wright onto the racetrack. We see the 8C as Corey Bavard. 16, John Clippinger. 24, Zeke McKenzie. McKenzie last night, an 8th place finisher. Brad DeYoung in car 7. Also on the racetrack, that is the car 43J. And Paul Rival in car 15R. Rival not in attendance last night. Two drivers in that session sitting comfortably in the 17s. That would be the 16C of John Clippinger. Brad DeYoung had 2 laps in the 17-second bracket. One of those, he actually was off the throttle before he got to the flag stand, still put up a 17.9. So we're starting to see those numbers begin to make their way into lower brackets. Gary Dillon's 82 getting a push out of the turn 2 entry area. The 21 CZ of Cole Tarneski. You've also got the car 11 of Morehouse. There's the 99J of Treb Jacoby. Dave Baldwin's 6B on the track. Car number 05 making an appearance for tonight's racing program as well. And Dylan, as we mentioned, in the 82. Dave Wheatholder in car number 05. Got the car repaired to get back out here for this competition out of Liberty, Illinois. Jeff Parsons first on the track in the 12. Looks like Brian Wilburn's 1W right there behind him. Last night's feature winner, Jason Garver in car 27G. You've got Lucas Lee in the familiar black 12L. Behind him, that's the 4SA. The SA in this case standing for sale, Kevin DeYoung in the 4SA. New car to the grid, the 09, Michael Leach from Sun River, Montana. Michael Leach making that long tow to get here. Lucas Lee putting up a pair of 17.0s. That is 17.040, then backed it up with a 17.057. As he's putting himself in position to be a factor in this one. Finished second in last night's first feature event. The third feature tonight will have 9 cars that were in the top 10 of their respective features. Zachary Hawk leads them out in the car 54H, racing out of Rockford, Ohio. Jamie Layton in the Oh No, also on the track. David Poland's car 88. There's Zeman's car 87Z. George Zeman out of Horton, Michigan. Kyle Strickler in the 8S. Maverick Varnador's 14. And the E85 of Jesse Strange. Best we could see from that group was David Poland, the 17-1. They are making a call down to the pit area to get the cars in the first group, 24 cars strong. Get them through the tech area, through the scales, get them ready to go because we're running out of cars to get on the racetrack. The 18C of Miles Cook the second. He races out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. Last night, second feature winner Rodney Wing, driver of the car 33W, out of Meridian, Mississippi. Then you have the 72 of Todd Nieheiser from Panama City, Florida. Jimmy Lennox, Maysville, Kentucky racer in car 8. Looks like this one will be a shorter field and give the drivers a little more open track to see what we can do. Of course, the times now mean nothing. They'll start to mean something here momentarily with the qualifying, as they'll qualify them 4 at a time, coming off turn 2 to the green flag. Green, white, checkered. Better of the 2 laps is the keeper. Miles Cook fastest of that group at 17.241. Rodney Wing is 17.309. Todd Nieheiser is 17.344. Those are 1, 2, 3 in that group, but that is 3, 4, and 5 overall. David Pollins, number 88 with a 17.156 sat second, but the fastest of the hot lap session was the 17.040 by Lucas Lee, backed with a 17.057. So we'll see now as we get the cars down into the turn 2 staging area. See what happens when we bring out our first group for the qualifying. As once again, the groups they qualify in will be the group they will have for the feature. We mentioned that the third feature had 9 of last night's top 10 runners. The first feature will have 9 as well. So some of the top ones there. And then in the second feature, we'll of course have 9. Nice and even distribution among last night's top 10. There will be a circumstance where one of last night's, actually 2 of last night's feature winners end up in the same race. That's going to be our third feature for tonight, as both Jason Garver and Rodney Wing are in that particular race. Last night's third feature winner, Austin Holcomb, will be in the first feature event. So a quick check of the turn 2 staging areas. The safety crews start to make their way back. And momentarily we'll see that yellow light go off in favor of the green to give these drivers a chance. They'll come out of the turn 2 gate and go straight down the back straightaway. Try to get as much speed as they can muster as they make their way around to the green flag in the front row. Here they go. The light has turned green, so we're going to see them out here now. Scheduled to be first. It's going to be the 17 of Chris Wilson coming on the track first. Will Krupp in the K9 right behind him. It's like Ryan Gerke's card 26G and Jeremy Owens in the 81. Wilson with a second place last night, looking to do better here tonight. First lap in for Chris Wilson. We'll go with a 16.846, 1.6.846. Will Krupp next in line of the 17.314. Owens an 18.153, and the final qualifier is 17.692 for Gerke. Wilson trying to best the 16.846, can't, to a 17.4. Krupp puts up a 16.972 and helps himself to move up closer. Owens an 18.219 against a 18.153, and Gerke has a better second lap at 17.389. Next out, you're going to see the 16H of Justin Hart. He's going to be followed onto the grid. Last night's feature winner, Austin Holcomb, coming out to qualify for his effort. Jeremy Rayburn in the 11R. Third in this group, and Billy Updegraff in the 10X. For Hart, it's a time of 18.998. Holcomb 17.469. Rayburn better, 17.331 and a 17.585. Goes up on the board for Billy Updegraff. Checkered flag, first to see it is the 16. He'll post an 18.007, a 16.858. That helps Holcomb to second spot. 17.080 for Rayburn on the second lap, moves him into fourth position. And the final time across Billy Updegraff is fifth at 17.120. Oscar McCown in the 1XX, Rob Fuquay in car 3F. The 97G of Jason Close, and the 9 of Corey Balke. Balke first to see the time. 16:846 the time to beat. We'll start it with a 17:044 for Oscar McCown. There's a 17.5 in the books. Close across to a 20.468. McCown to a 17.385, a little bit slower that time. So McCown moves to fourth quick at 17.044. Fuquay seventh quick at 17.168 on that final lap, final pass through. 12 cars have qualified. Halfway through this one, time to beat is the time of Chris Wilson at 16.846. The 97G getting straightened away to get back into the infield area once the track is cleared. May need some safety help down here in turn 2. Once the track is cleared, we'll get the remaining cars from Group 1. And now the 97G is able to get fired up and away. Here come the next group out. It's going to be Thomas Sigler's 19A leading the way. Austin Sanders in car 64 next on the racetrack. Alan Weiser, the 25W, and the 27 of Bo DeYoung. Sigler's effort will get it started as he sees the white flag to a time of 18.761. Sanders 17.114. Trying to move up. Alan Weiser is 17.656 and a 17.649 on the books for Bo DeYoung. Sigler checkered flag in hand. 18.294. Sanders a little better. 17.093 moves to sixth. Alan Weiser 17.275 holds ninth, and Bo DeYoung will go 18.074, and that'll put him, as that time doesn't really count because he had a 17.649, one of the few drivers who have a better lap on the first lap. Austin Self in the 23Z. Set to take his time. He was ninth in last night's feature event. Mike Petoskey in the M20, fourth place finisher in the feature. Hunter Feltner, driver of the car 101, and the final car on the racetrack is Ben Harmon in the 1H. Whether that's or Brian Wilburn in the 1W. Brian Wilburn 17.580, bettered by the 17.404 as we see Feltner now goes 17.523, and Wilburn's going to take a 17.902. Room for improvement for all these drivers as Wilburn is in the wall in turn 2. 17.542. There's the better run of the group. 17.267. Checkered flag out on a 17.102 put up by Feltner on his pass. 17.102. The better lap of the two, and that's good enough for 7 spots. You're going to have one qualifying lap for the Brian Wilburn Car 1W. Time to beat remains Chris Wilson's time. He was first on the racetrack, and he's made it stick. Has a 12 1/1000ths advantage over Austin Holcomb. Only other driver in the 16s is Will Krupp at 16.972. There are many drivers that have 17.0s, 3 of them as a matter of fact. Wilson got his best time on his first lap. He is one of few drivers, as a matter of fact, of the cars that we've qualified. Only 5 of the drivers, 5 of the 20, have picked up their best lap on the first lap. So we are going to have a car missing from this group as the A85 of Brandon Hutchinson takes to the track. The 64M of Tim McCafferty. Here's the white flag waving out over Hutchinson. Brandon's time of 17:9:41. McCafferty will go with an 18:240. Time to beat that 17:9:41, and he does substantially. 17:252. He jumps up 7 spots in the order, and 18:489 is posted. That's the slower of the 2 times, so McCafferty's going to keep his 18:240. And that indicates that we are going to go with 22 cars in this group. Non-qualified cars include Mason Love in the 0, who was in an incident during the hot lap session, and Jason Russell in car 75R, who finished in the 6th spot last night, will not qualify for tonight's first A feature. Chris Wilson, 2nd place finisher last night, will have the opportunity to be on the pole for this one. Last night winner Austin Holcomb will be up in the front row with him, top 5. Will Krupp 3rd at 16:9:72. Oscar McCown 4th in the 1XX. Oscar McCown will be lining it up in the 4th position, and Jeremy Rayburn in car 11R will check in the 5th spot. Rayburn last night finishing 3rd in the final feature. None of the drivers in the 2nd group went to victory lane last night, so that means that's going to change something. Well, somebody has to win that 2nd feature. Final car being assisted off the racetrack will set it up for the first 4 cars to exit turn 2 and make their way out onto the back straightaway. Green light on, indicating that the gate is open and ready for the group to come out on. The 8C of Corey Bavard leading the way. Right behind him will be Michael Turner in the 27T and the 14 of Skylar Douglas with the car 77C of Brian Cox. Brian Cox last night an 8th place finisher. Corey Bavard a 7th place finisher. For Corey Bavard to start things off, he'll go with a time of 17:5:75. Turner 16:8:83. The 14 of Douglas will take a 17:6:48. And finishing things off will be Cox in the 77 to a time of 19:1:28. Bavard going better on his 2nd lap as he puts up a 17:4:53. 16:8:43 better for Turner. He's fast time of the group so far. A 17:7:20 for Skylar Douglas. His first lap was better. That puts a time of 17:648 as his time of record. Jason Cox, only 1 lap because he spun over in turn 3, and he'll head to the infield. Bodes well for Michael Turner as the fast qualifier in the first group was first group of 22 was from the first cars to hit the racetrack. In this case, Turner, the 2nd car on the track in the group, and holds on to a 16:8:43 as the top position. We'll see that light go green in just a moment here, and that will start the next cycle of cars onto the racetrack to try to beat that 16,843. Got to get some safety back onto the racetrack. Apparently a situation over in turn 2 that needs some attention. So there is reports of debris all over the racetrack. But that's been taken care of, and so the next 4 cars have been told the track is clear for you to make your way out onto the racing surface. Jacob Hall from Wayland, Kentucky in the 43J first to go. Ray Bollinger, the veteran out of Illinois. Here comes Cole Charneski from Wisconsin, car 21CZ. And the Chris Kittle 15 scheduled next. Instead, we're going to have Josh Lomaw in 25. 17,634 put up as the first time. Bollinger quicker at 17,244. Charneski better still, 16,976. And Lomaw will take an 18,032. Checkered flag for Hall, 17,626. Bollinger will have 17,254. Here's a 16 backed by another 16. And fast time of the group, 16.800. And Cole Charneski hangs on to that top spot as they make their way into the infield. He becomes the time to beat at 16.800. On to the racetrack. Bring our next group of cars out. This is the 14C of Rick Connier. Chris Kittle in the 15 will be next. Paul Rival, the 15R. And you have the 37 of Devin Wright. Time to beat 16.800. Problem for Paul Rival. He spins off turn 2. 18.087 starts it for Connier. Devin Wright across with an 18.447. Checkered flag now for Connier. 17.965. He'll dip into the 17s. Kittle will go to an 18.014. And wrapping it up will be the Wright car 37 to a 17.592. That's going to put Devin Wright in the 5th position on that second lap. Rival gets no time on the 15R as he chose instead to go into the infield for this one. Seth Daniels in the S21 leads them out. Treb Jacoby in car number 99J. You've got John Clippinger's car 16 and the car 7 of Brad DeYoung. Clippinger among the fastest 2 in the practice session. How's that going to translate in this one? Seth Daniels puts up a 17.224. Jacoby will go with a 16.852. Clippinger not quite there, 17.778 and a 17.549. Now Jacoby had a rough go there in turn 2. Won't trim that time, 17.081. And the 16 will stand to a 17.997. 17.423 for John Clippinger and the 17.495 for Brad DeYoung. That'll put DeYoung in the 8th spot. Clippinger holds on to 6th. Treb Jacoby is 3rd. Based on that first lap alone, the 16.852, just 9 1,000ths behind second place Michael Turner. Dave Baldwin in the car 6B leads out the 4. That is the Halliday ride. Mike Halliday from Georgia. Tyler Morehouse rounds out the field. which also includes Denny Schwartz. Meanwhile, Baldwin spins from the front. Yellow flag is going to wave, and we'll rack this group up and try it once again. With Dave Baldwin having a problem with the exit off turn 2, got himself in dire straits. Now we're going back to green flag. Everybody gets a chance to see it once again as we watch him close in. Denny Schwartz is crowding Mike Halliday for sure. Halliday gives him the inside line as Baldwin goes to a 17.667. Schwartz with a very fast race car. Just how fast? 17.595 and an 18.020. For Baldwin, 17.447. Dave Baldwin puts up a 17.447. Denny Schwartz not having the kind of run that he'd hoped for. Does get a better time with a 17.184. That's going to move him up. Schwartz will take 5th position with that 17.184. Baldwin holds on to 8th at a 17.447. Of the 19 cars that have taken time, 6 of them have had their better lap on the first lap. So with 19 cars, we're down to the late stages. Gary Dillon coming out in car 82. The 05 of Dave Wheatholder. Looks like we're only going to get a pair this time. Dillon is 17.929. Wheatholder better, 17.757. This one, though, he has to pedal back as he gets up near the concrete. Checkered flag looking for his finish here. Gary Dillon, 17.526. That's the better of the two. But Wheatholder in 18.485, not so much. He's going to keep his 17.757 as his time of record. So all indications are there may be more cars waiting to come out onto the track for, nope, going to turn them loose. As we had 22 cars attempt to take time, 21 cars were able to take time. Top 5 for this group, 5th place, Denny Schwartz, a time of 17.184. Seth Daniels in the S21. We have Schwartz in the 21S and Daniels in the S21. Seth Daniels, a 17.081 for 4th quick. 3rd quick was Trev Jacoby, car number 99J. Jacoby will put up a time of 16.852. He's the only driver among the top 5 who had a faster first lap. Michael Turner, 2nd quick at 16.843. And your fast timer in the 21Z, he hails out of Wisconsin, Denmark, Wisconsin, the home for Cole Charneski. The 21CZ team gets the job done, what they were searching for. This is the group that will include a couple of drivers who went to victory lane last night in the feature events. So your fast qualifier exiting the racetrack, headed for the tech shed. Night number 2 of 6 nights of racing in Dirt Car UMP modified action. Tonight's format, as the drivers all qualify for feature positions. 3 25-lap features for tonight. The finishes do not impact the points that are kept toward the cars to lock in on Saturday. Leading them out, last night's feature winner, Jason Garver in car 27 to start things off. It's going to be Ben Harmon's car 1H, the 12 of Jeff Parsons, and the 99 of Wade Olmstead. Garver gets right down to business with a 17.169. Parsons will put up a time of 17.493. And Olmstead at 17.996. Second lap is going to be better, 16.581. 17.272 across the board as Parsons get his second lap of 17.493. And Olmstead a second lap of 17.779. 16.581, Jason Garver's second lap. All drivers, with the exception of Parsons, faster on their second lap. George Zeman from Horton, Michigan in the 87Z. Rockford, Ohio, Zachary Hawk in the 54. The 4SA of Kevin DeYoung. And the car 09 of Michael Leach. Michael Leach from Sun River, Montana. Zeman to a 17.223. It'll be Hawk at 17.910. DeYoung 17.719. And Leach in his first qualifying effort, a 17.210. Second quick so far. Zeman across to a 17.330. Hawk will better his time, 17.555. DeYoung goes a 17.872. Can Leach get to the 16s? He does. 16.997. That's going to keep the Montana driver in the number 2 spot as 2 drivers drop into the 16-second bracket. Miles Cook, the second, out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. Next out onto the racetrack, it's David Poland from here in Tampa. Behind him, you're going to find rolling out Dalton Lane's car 14L and Todd Nieheiser from Panama City in car 72. Cook shows a 17.720. Poland will take a 17.304 to open up. Lane, 17.815. Nieheiser is 17.494. They're just getting started here as Cook looks to improve, 17.152. Poland will try to trim down some, 3.45 to a 17. Dalton Lane goes a 17.703, and Nieheiser is 17.422. That is the better of the 2 laps for the car 72. David Poland keeps the 17.304 first lap against the 17.345 second lap. Cook in the 18C, best of the bunch there with a 17.152. Jimmy Lennox on the track in the car number 8. The E85 of Jesse Strange takes to the racetrack. Rodney Wing, last night's feature winner in car 33, and the 8 car of Kyle Strickler. Jimmy Lennox, 17.402. Jesse Strange will go to a 18.014. Wing looking to do well here, 17.292. Strickler better, 16.656. Not good enough to get you to the top. That will get you to second. He needs to trim down 7/100ths of a second. Can he do it? Wing looking for a good run. 16.967. How about Kyle Strickler? 16.320. Rodney Wing was able to get to third with his 16.967, but Kyle Strickler goes to the top by over 0.3 of a second to 16.320. We'll get Jesse Strange into the pit area now as we have reached 16 of our scheduled 24 cars to qualify for this one. The 0 of Damian Kiefer from Missouri leads him out. Lucas Lee from Paris, Tennessee in the car 12L. Second place finisher last night, Joseph Thomas in car 6ST and the 14M of Maverick Varnador. Both Lee and Thomas finished second in their respective features last night. Kiefer to a 17.726. Lucas Lee fast in the practice, 16.564. Thomas a 17.746. And Maverick Varnador 17.874. Lucas Lee currently second quick. And he'll post up a 16.5 flat. That'll keep him second quick. Thomas takes a 17.641, and Maverick Varnador shows up with a 17.990. Last group in the staging area now, ready to qualify. Time to beat. Kyle Strickler's 16.230. Here's Brian Skaggs leading the way in the car number 20. The 333 of Wade Rookard and the car Oh No from Jamie Layton from Hobart, Indiana. Brian Skaggs, a third place finisher last night in the first feature. For Skaggs, a 17.051. Problems here for the spinning car in turn 2. Going to bring out the caution flag. That being Jamie Layton's car, Oh No. Drivers building back up to speed. Wade Rookard in the 333 will be the first to see the new green flag. Rookard across, 18.309, 18.309. Brian Skaggs to a time of 16.805, 16.805. And the 9. Oh No, 18.688. Apparently an issue with that as time not reporting on those last two times. Top 5 will be Michael Leach in his first night of racing here, coming from Montana. He's in car number 09, time of 16.997. Last night's feature winner, Rodney Wing, fourth quick at 16.967. Third quick, another feature winner from last night, Jason Garver, with a time of 16.581. That means Garver and Wing will be in the same row. Lucas Lee, second quick at 16.500, and fast time recorded for the Kyle Strickler 8S as the racer out of Mooresville, North Carolina, puts a 16.320 in the books. Lineups being sent down into the pit area to get the drivers ready for these 3 A-mains that we're going to have here tonight. Qualifying has been completed, so they know where they stand when the time comes. Cars for the first qualifying A-main getting set to roll off into the Turn 2 area for night number 2 of the Dirt Car UMP Modified feature events. Do appreciate everyone coming out on a Tuesday night as the month of January starts to wind down. The final night for the month coming up for tomorrow night, and we'll be right back here racing the Dirt Car